Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. I am Kim Warner. I'm your host, and let's talk about the X factor, as in EX dash. What have you X'd, or what has X'd you? Well, looking at exes, ex friends, ex lovers, ex husbands, ex wives, ex work partnerships, what can we find in the exes? What can we learn from the exes? And one of the things that came to mind was boundaries. I believe that boundaries are crossed and they cause pain for one or the other in all matters. It can also happen in relationships with our children. But the matter of fact is being able to realize if I crossed boundaries, if you crossed boundaries, or if there were ever boundaries set throughout time and talking with people, working with behaviors, mental health, um, and even substance abuse. What I found is that most people, they don't have boundaries. They didn't understand boundaries. And this gives us an idea when we come into communication with others that understand that boundaries have to be created. The understanding is taken on where people understand that the reason why they were hurt is because of boundaries. In the case of a child in the custody of their parent and they're molested, the boundaries may not have been set by the parents for whoever was in the house or whoever had care of the child. This may not be the case, but it's an example. So we have people that are growing up with fears of being in intimate relationships, or they overindulge in intimate relationships. Example. And what happens in the fear is that they're reliving something that happened in that past that they haven't recovered from concerning that molestation. The one that is overindulgent in relationships won't find any satisfaction. They don't have any love for themselves. So what happens is they have no boundary and they overindulge. It's the same as the one that does not want to participate. They have hangups because they've been violated. Both people in both instances have been violated. The one that overindulges because of molestation and the one that is not indulging or has hangups. They don't really like to be touched. They don't enjoy sex. They don't know how to enjoy because they were violated. So here we find a need for these individuals to understand what happened to them is not their fault and to take their power back. Some people don't know how to do that without an external fight. That's not how it goes. There's a spiritual need of communication, prayer, meditation to be taught to an individual who has no boundaries. When we go outside of the idea of molestation, we can look at where boundaries have been crossed, where we did not create boundaries. And even in being loved or being in love, most people have not created boundaries. And that is why it's hard to get to unconditional love or acceptance or the place of forgiveness when you've been hurt. So let's take today and focus on boundaries. Boundaries means that I have to be brave enough to say that hurt me, and the other person that I'm communicating with has to be brave enough to listen. This is a place where pride is put in a place and put on hold. Pride is it's okay, but it's not in the unhealthy place where people haven't even learned how to demonstrate pride, because most time pride is an overzealous ego that has no balance, right? Once the ego is balanced out and it understands that it has boundaries, it cannot cross others' boundaries, and others will not cross its boundaries, then there's a balance. There's humility and there's pride. There is confidence. All of these things go together. So here, I just wanted to come on and present an understanding of why exes come into place. Because it's not that we cannot get along, it's because someone has that conquer mentality. Conquer mentality is out the door. Conquer mentality is what allowed someone to be molested. I conquer this, I conquer that. No, it is not conquer and divide. We have humanity at a place where it needs to be understood. Statistics on mental health are growing daily, even homelessness, because mental health challenges mean if it is exacerbated continuously, people won't be able to take care of themselves. They will continue to be homeless. And who's looking at this picture? Boundaries need to be set with your children and the generations to come. Why? Because they need to have a healthy mindset and a healthy understanding of who they are. So let's start with them. Let's also work with ourselves as adults. And if those that we are around cannot understand that we're putting that, protection around us because we're learning something new, then they might become X factors. Now, am I advising you? No, we're simply having a discussion. This is not for advice, this is for discussion. If you want private sessions, coaching, myself and constituents are available. And you could go to my website, www.wealthyliving.org, or also email me at ifwbuilders@wealthliving.org, and I will put that information in the description box. We're on YouTube at Interfaith Wealth Builders. I am on Instagram at Inner Wealth Builders, and I do classes on demand if you go to the website. Also, others. We have a class coming up on travel budgeting. If you want to get in on that on Tuesday, I think that's going to be the first. You're welcome. Just inbox me on Instagram or Facebook to get that information. Blessings, and remember boundaries. Remember balance. All right? Bye-bye.